Oh, Shadowhunter books? Hello, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be my first sit-down video on this channel. I posted a reading vlog earlier in the week, which I had so much fun making, so I'm definitely going to continue doing those weekly. But today's my first sit-down video, which makes me a little nervous, but I figured the easiest thing to do would be to do the Booktube newbie tag to get my feet wet. So I want to give you some basic information about me before we jump into the questions. My name is Emma. My channel name is Rosemary in Ink. I came up with that last summer when I started a blog, which swiftly went downhill. Did not work out for me. But I just really liked that name. It doesn't have any meaning to it whatsoever, but rosemary is a really awesome, beautiful, wonderful smelling herb, and ink is a huge part of my life. I'm a student, I'm a reader, I'm a writer, and so ink is everywhere. So I am a college student. I just finished my second year of college and I will be finishing up in the spring. So yes, I'm doing college in 3 years. I'll get back to you on whether or not I think that was a mistake. Stay tuned. My degree is in psychology, but I don't have the scientific patience to do a BS, so I have a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology that I'm working towards. I would have minored in English literature, but I didn't really have time since I decided to graduate so early. What's other important information about me? I'm 20 years old. I take oat milk in my coffee if it's available. If it's not available, I've been a reader ever since I was teeny, which I will talk about when we get to the official questions for the tag. But I cannot tell you the majority of the things that I've read because I've forgotten, but I have a grasp on what I've read more recently, and that's where some of my favorite books come from. My all-time favorite book is A Tale of Two Cities, which I actually have right here for easy access. This is my copy of A Tale of Two Cities. I bought it for 10th grade English, not knowing that this would become one of the most important, influential novels in my life. It is well loved. As you can see, the spine, not very well annotated, but I have my favorite passages highlighted since I was not a big annotator in 10th grade. But I love this book for a lot of reasons, probably most of which I can't articulate because they run too deep down in my soul. I'm also a big fan of Jane Austen. Anyone who knows me personally knows that I have told them at least 5 times that I'm named after Emma Woodhouse and that I feel like Emma by Jane Austen is written about me. I also love Agatha Christie and Shakespeare, and all of that makes me sound very pretentious, but I'm really not. I also love the Raven Boys and Harry Potter, obviously. All of Rick Riordan's works are incredible, and I'm just starting to get into adult fiction. My tastes are just actually starting to evolve and change. And so that's why Booktube has been really important to me in the last year, is sort of trying out different things, trying to figure out, moving from like teenagehood to adulthood, what is my taste changing into? And it's been an interesting journey and I'm nowhere near done. But books I've read recently, I have read Radio Silence. I loved that. I read If We Were Villains. I loved that. I'm currently reading Ninth House and also Sense and Sensibility for the very first time. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy earlier this year, and that was an amazing experience. I think that that is enough basic information about me. One other thing, I have a dog who is Yorkshire Terrier, who's asleep on the couch right now and would not be happy if I went and got her, but her name is Darcy. I have a female dog and her name is Darcy. Her full name is Elizabeth Darcy. Most people who have a dog named Darcy have like a Mr. Darcy, like a male dog, but I didn't care. I thought Darcy was a cute name anyway. So I'm going to get into the questions now. Excuse me if I look down. I have notes down here on my lap that have the questions and just like a little outline of what I wanted to say. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? I've wanted to have a booktube channel for a while, and I actually tried to have one a while ago this summer between my 9th and 10th grade year. As I've said, my taste has been evolving recently as I've been maturing in college and just in life in general. And I was watching big booktubers from time to time. I was subscribed to a couple, but their reading lists really weren't cutting it for me. They really weren't very interesting to me at all, and so I wasn't reading very much, but I wanted to read more. So I started recently in the last few months to intentionally search for maybe smaller YouTubers, booktubers who had more interesting tastes to me, even if they weren't exactly straight up my alley. I wasn't really sure what my alley was. So then I found this wonderful world of smaller booktubers who are actually really, really interesting, awesome people. And that inspired me to try to overcome the fears that I've always had when I thought about trying to have a booktube channel, which were that I don't read enough, I don't read the right things, I'm not that interested in Sarah J. Maas. But I really have had a couple of really specific people who have inspired me, even if we don't have similar tastes, that they don't necessarily follow the trends. They just read whatever they want, and I think it's awesome. And I decided, well, so if they can do that and they can have an online community that they find fulfilling and interesting, and that's what I want, then I can do it too, even if I'm not reading Crescent City or, the newest YA fantasy, whatever. I can be a part of this community even if I don't fit the mold, so to speak. So I've been very intentional about getting my intentions in the right place. I'm really just here to have fun, and so far, like this week, which has been my experience so far, I'm having a lot of fun creating this content and just reading. So those are just some random thoughts surrounding that question. The next question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? So one thing that I think I can bring to this community is my taste, because I mentioned earlier there are some very specific booktubers that inspired me to start this channel. Despite not having the right taste or reading the right books, they just read whatever they want, and it's totally awesome. And I also think that, every person on the planet is unique, and so every reader has something unique to bring to Booktube, even if they don't know what it is. And so I just think that, my original thoughts, my take on things, is gonna be fun and unique. that's the wording, fun and unique. Is going to be something that I can bring to discussions and bring to the conversation surrounding different books or reading in general. The next question is, what are you most excited for with this channel? The main thing that I'm excited for is getting to talk about books as much as I want to. I have friends who read, but nobody who reads quite like me. And so I think that being in this online community is going to definitely give me an outlet for that. I'm also excited to create content to record my life through this sort of reading avenue. And I'm also really excited to make reading vlogs, because those are my favorite. That's my absolute favorite content on YouTube. It's just vlogs in general, but specifically Booktube reading vlogs. I love them, and I am so excited to make more. The next question is, why do you love reading? This is a loaded question, which sort of is one of those things where I don't know if I can answer it very well or answer it fully, because reading has been such an integral part of my life for so long. My dad is a fan of classic literature. My mom is a big reader. She inspired my love of mysteries, and she read nonstop to me when I was a little kid. We listened to audiobooks in the car on the way to school, which were actually at that time books on tape. But she read Nancy Drew to me. She read The Chronicles of Narnia to me. She read, you know, ABC kids mysteries and all sorts of fun things like that. And I think it's just, reading is just good for my mental health. It takes me out of myself. I'm a 4 on the Enneagram, so my feelings are like the most important thing in the world, and I can definitely tell a difference when I am inward focused and when I'm outward focused. And reading is one of actually the easiest things to get me outward focused, because I'm focusing on the life of someone else. And if I keep reading as a habit, it's definitely so good for my mental health. It's emotional. It helps me get in touch with my emotions. It brings me joy. It educates me. It improves my writing, not only creatively, but also for school. All of that to say, it does a really good thing for my mental health. So at this point in my life, that's why I love reading. When I was little, I loved reading as a form of escape. Middle school and high school, I would say the same thing. Reading means so much to me. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but hopefully I'll cut it together in a way that it seems coherent. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? That's a hard question to ask. I think the best way to talk about this question is to talk about the books that have inspired me to read more or to read differently, and that comes down to things like Harry Potter, recently Lord of the Rings, Little Women, The Raven Boys. The influential book for me with Agatha Christie was obviously Murder on the Orient Express, which we had to read for summer reading one year, and I just fell in love. Tale of Two Cities, Pride and Prejudice, The Shadowhunter Chronicles, Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, Magnus Chase, all things like that are the things that have inspired me to read more and to, you know, explore different types of reading. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I have a couple. How much do you annotate? I know that, you know, some people don't annotate at all. Some people tab certain books and then don't tab others. I just think it's interesting why or why not people like to annotate. This is the main question. Does Booktube increase your love of reading, maintain it, or decrease it? Creating content, making videos, making Instagram posts, talking to people, having live shows, do things like that increase your love of reading? Have they increased your love of reading during your YouTube career, or has it just like maintained it at a steady level? Have there been certain things that have made you want to read more or made you want to quit reading forever? Because reading is what this is all about, and so I just want to know what the relationship is between Booktube and reading itself and how they influence each other. And my last question for my favorite Booktubers is, can we have coffee and maybe be best friends? The next question is, what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think myself. Me. I've been afraid to start this channel for a bit because I didn't think I read enough or read the right things. And I think, you know, when my first wrap-up comes around, it's not gonna be 10 books. It probably will never be 10 books. It's gonna be like 4 or 5 every month, and maybe even less if I'm busy with school. Just the imposter syndrome of thinking that I probably don't belong here is going to be something that's kind of hard to overcome. The next question is, when did you start reading? I sort of answered this tongue-in-cheek earlier, but I've been reading for 15 years because I learned how to read in kindergarten, and I never really stopped. The next question is, where do you read? I read absolutely anywhere. I used to be really good at tuning people out and just like focusing and buckling down and reading. I'm not so good at that anymore. I still can do it. It just takes me like 5 minutes to read one page. But like if I'm sitting there for 5 minutes, I've gotten through one page, right? So as long as I can be comfortable, because it's really hard for me to sit in a comfortable position. As long as I can be comfortable, I can read. The final question, which I think I've answered in bits and pieces, are, what kind of books do you like to read? I will give you this answer in 3 words: classics, mystery, fantasy. But like I said, my taste is still evolving. I'm still really developing like what my adult book taste looks like, and so I'm adventuring into different avenues to try to find out what I really like. It's fun. It's a fun adventure, and I'm glad that you get to come along for the ride. Alright, so that is going to be all for me today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for clicking on it. If you've stayed this long, please let me know that you watched the whole thing, and let me know any questions that you have for me or anything that you would like to see from me on this channel coming up. I have a couple of ideas that will last me for a little bit, since I plan on making a reading vlog, at least one every week. So please let me know any thoughts that you have about anything I said in this video. Especially if you love Tale of Two Cities, let me know and we can fangirl over it together. If you hate Tale of Two Cities, that's fine, you're wrong, but we can talk about it. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you had fun here with me watching it, watching me figure out how to talk to my phone while it's stacked on top of the Arc of the Scythe series. I will see you soon with another video. Bye!